Hi, everyone. I'm here with guiding light actress Michelle Ray Smith. Michelle, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. Thank you for having me today. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you on this beautiful Monday. So thank you.
It's such a pleasure to meet you. I can't believe I'm actually talking to you right now. This is crazy. And I said the same thing when I met Stephanie Gachet a few weeks ago, and I met Robert Newman last year. This is all so surreal. There are so many people on my list from Guiding Light that I want to meet, from Tom Pelfrey to Marcy Ryland. I think she goes by something else now, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Lizzie, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is simply amazing. I guess my first question would be, how did you get involved with Guiding Light?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so one day I received a call from my agent asking me if I'd be interested in going in on a meeting to meet Rob DeCina over at Guiding Light. And just to sit down and have a meeting. Hey, how are you? Talk about a little bit, about my career and what have you. And so I did. Of course, I was really excited about that. And I sat down with him and we had a great conversation. And then he introduced me to Ellen Wheeler, who we know, the executive producer. And so I didn't even know who she was. I met her in the meeting and we just talked and laughed. And then I actually was leaving the meeting and my phone rang and it was my agent and they said, Michelle, we have some great news for you. They're interested, Guiding Light's interested in writing a role for you to bring you on the show. And they wanted to know if you, would accept it. And for 3 months, they were going to write this part for me to bring me on. And I was so flattered. And I remember just crying. I was so happy and feeling so thankful for the opportunity. And that was it. I waited for 3 months. They wrote the character Ava Peralta and they invited me on the show. And it was just such a blessing, such a blessing.
Yeah, do you remember what day that was? Your first day on set? Do you remember that at all? Do you remember the date? No,
Oh, I don't
actually.
remember the exact date. I remember, of course, the experience, but no, I don't remember the exact date. You must have it do you have it somewhere? You must have it somewhere.
Well, when
Well,
I looked it up, I know they said that you debuted on screen in August of '05. I thought it was later than that, but
it was August of '05. That sounds about right because my son was born in 2008 and that was my last year on the show. So it was from '05 to '08. So that would
and I was so sad that you left. I was like, what? Why is she leaving?
Oh, I know. Well, I came back to cause some problems a little bit towards the end, but no, it was nice. I loved working on the show, and I was offered another opportunity to stay in another contract, but I really wanted to just spend some time with my son. I just gave birth to Jake, and he was so little, and I'd been so busy with the show, and I thought, I'm not going to have another time in my life to experience these little baby years. So yeah, I decided to take a little break for a little while, but oh my gosh, it was such a great experience.
Because when you were leaving, you tried to get the guy that plays Remy. You tried to get him to go with you, and you were saying,
Yeah.
"Come with me," and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna stay." And
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "This guy's crazy. Go with Ava. Go with her."
But they always sent the girls who had the younger girls on the show who had babies. They always sent us off to like different places. You never like if you had a baby on the show, you never like raised the baby. Either the baby disappeared or like someone went off somewhere, and then that girl, that young character, was back again, and boom, she had no baby, and there you go, she was having an affair with someone else on the show. So they always had
Yeah.
like the younger actresses always had funny experiences with babies on the show, if you noticed.
Yeah, like I told you before the recording, Ava Peralta was and is one of my favorite female characters. So when Remy didn't get with you, I was like, this guy's nuts. You know, like, what's wrong
I
with this guy? You
right.
know.
It was such a fun character. It was such a fun interaction with him and with Bill and the baby being born. And it was just an amazing just opportunity, and being pregnant at the same time while I was playing the because they wrote the pregnancy into my character. That was just crazy because I was like studying lines about this and that and this, magical imaginary world of Ava. And then I was going through all these changes in my body and becoming a mom and in my real life. And it was just how they meshed together was really incredible. And it was a blessing to be able to have that written into the storyline because I feel like I just celebrated my pregnancy the whole time on Guiding Light. They dressed me up so cute all the time. Oh my gosh, Darnell, I know this isn't a fashion show, but boy, I had so much fun with the way they dressed me on Guiding Light when I was pregnant.
Hey, it's all good. If you want, like, whatever you want to talk about, that's, it's cool with me. You played Ava from 2005 to 2008. Have you desired to be on any other shows, any other soaps?
Well, I'm always the kind of person that welcomes whatever is, supposed to happen to me. I feel like I'm kind of just cruising along in my life, waiting for these opportunities to unfold in front of me. So, I, I, I always, I guess, maybe over the years, what I've wanted to evolve to and what I've hoped to do is actually what's happening right now in my life. Which was I always wanted to be a host. I always wanted to host a show. I wanted to be able to connect with people emotionally in real life. So after Guiding Light, I did, Assault with Angelina Jolie. I had a small cameo in that, which was really exciting. I went ahead and was a guest starring lead actress on Special Victims Unit on a episode called Snatched, which was every New York actor's dream to be on one of those Special Victims Unit Law and Order shows. So that was also a blessing. But what I really wanted to do is to be able to help people share my story of loss, of success, of surviving suicide, losing my dad, being a cancer survivor, suffering from anxiety, like all the things that I experience on a human level as a real person in my life as Michelle. Those are the things that I really am attracted to sharing with people and helping them. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm always up for new adventures with acting and becoming new characters and creatively challenging myself. But my heart is involved with helping other people by connecting with them and creating some kind of a mutual understanding and bond so that I can make a difference in people's lives. So yeah, I'm hosting
Have
now
you
and I'm just grateful for
have
that.
you talked with any other fans? Any other Guiding Light fans besides myself?
I actually have a lot of Guiding Light fans. That are friends of mine, actually good friends of mine. In fact, one of my friends, Bill Heyman, he's a fan. Rosemary's a fan. She's a friend of mine. So over the years, I've actually developed some really great friendships through being an actress on the show. And I've done a lot of that through Facebook, which has been so nice. And, I have another business, a health and wellness business that I'm involved in. And actually, I have quite a big team of people that I work with and help to grow and change people's lives. And actually, some fans are my friends. They're actually on my team with me. So that's another story, which is super awesome.
That's great. It's very, very strange, not in a bad way, but it's strange that you're involved with this wellness thing because it reminds me a lot of Stephanie Gachet, who people know as Tammy Winslow. She's involved with this wellness stuff. I told her when I met her, I said, "Look, let me die happy. I want to die with a cheeseburger in my hand."
And that's cool. Like, I totally love cheeseburgers. Absolutely. Yeah. And I just think like my crusade really is, as a cancer survivor, it's really trying to help people get away from using toxic chemicals in their lives and their products. Like for me, healthy eating, that's definitely a part of wellness, but getting rid of toxic chemicals and, your shampoos and conditioners and lotions, anything that can be absorbed through your skin, That's stuff that I'm really interested in helping people, make adjustments with. But yeah.
Well, you should be glad that you don't have to watch over me, because I'd be sneaking food whenever you're around. That's me.
You would probably keep me busy. You keep me on my toes.
Mhm. But I guess my next question would be, what is something you like about being an actress, and then something you dislike?
Okay, so one of the things I love about being an actress is that acting gives me the permission to be different parts of myself that maybe I wouldn't have felt as comfortable or confident expressing as myself as Michelle. I know maybe that's a little bit heavy for you, but so basically, I love someone to say to me, Crystal Chappelle used to say to me, she goes, "You were miscast. You were miscast on Guiding Light." She said this to me several times. She's like, "You would have been a great villain. You would have been a great bad girl. You would have been a great problem starter." And I think I would have, because for me, acting gives me the permission to be this crazy part of myself that I could never be. Like, I could be a total nasty, snotty, you know what, and get
Yeah.
away with it. And get away with it as an actress. As an actress that day, I could go out and just be crazy, nuts, throw chairs, bang on walls. If that's what my character was doing for the day, yay, I get to do that. So it gives me permission to do those fun, crazy things I wouldn't normally do. So that I'm grateful for. However, my true joy out of life is acting is beautiful because I have the power to be able, as an actress, to make you feel something, right? I can make you feel an emotion if I commit myself to sharing that with you as an actress. I can also move and change and help people in their spiritual life, the way they feel about themselves and their happiness and joy and confidence. I can do that and reap the benefits for it on a daily basis by being just in a different business. So
Yeah.
I love the acting in the fact that I can influence people and make people feel, which is important to me. But I feel like sometimes with acting in the things that are important to some people in the acting business, I'm not all about fame, and I'm not all about the big power and the big money, which is why I've never lived in LA. I'm about moving people and helping people and having an emotional connection. So some parts of that business have been very disconnected for me. And which is why now that I'm hosting and I'm able to work with real people and talk to them about their challenges and issues and problems in real life, suffering loss and cancer and suicide and those things are the things that really make me feel like I'm living a life where I'm contributing. So I've had an internal struggle a little bit with with acting, but right now I feel very fulfilled as a host.
Well, I read that about you a couple of years ago. Well, I think it was more than a couple. I think I read that about you in 2011, that you had been dealing with some things, and I applaud you, because anybody that can get through those things, I think it's great. You guys are my heroes. I remember the actress Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh
She
yeah.
she played a role where she was running from a psychotic killer in a film called Halloween, and then they did a 20th
Yes.
anniversary sequel to that movie some years ago, where she had to run away from her demons and then overcome her demons, and but that was just a movie. So anybody that can do that in real life, I applaud you guys. You guys that deal with suicide and depression.
Well,
And
the thing is, Darnell, is that we all have challenges in our lives. We all do. And I think one of the reasons why I love being in front of the camera and talking here with you is to have a real conversation about life, about the challenges, about struggling. Even though I'm in front of the camera and even though I might be acting, I'm still human. I still have crazy parents and, you know, crazy family members and, you know, like I still have all those things. I have anxiety. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother conversation, you know? So I feel like I love to have real conversations and talk about challenges because you know someone with cancer. You've known someone with cancer. You've probably known someone with diabetes. You probably know someone with anxiety, someone who suffers from depression, right? And so when someone sits in front of you and says, hey, Darnell, you know what? My dad suffered from depression and no one knew about it for years and years. And he took his life because we didn't understand that he needed help. We didn't, you know, and here's my story. And you go, whoa, Michelle, wow, that happened to my uncle. My uncle did this similar thing. And then all of a sudden you start this great conversation about real things with people. And man, it's just amazing how people just want you to be relatable. And when you can do that and be human and not have to be perfect all the time, the world changes.
And see, that's one of the things that a fan told me last year. He said, I love your interviews because your interviews go into the human experience. And I told him, I said, listen, this is not something that I try to do on purpose. This is just who I am. I talk to people like they're people. It doesn't matter black, white, green, blue, none of that matters. I talk to you like I would talk to anybody else. I send you a message on Facebook and I don't even know you and I could be like, hey Michelle, how's it going? You know, how's your son doing? Or, you know, whatever the case may be. I might be like, well, what are you watching on TV tonight? You know, because we're all people.
You have a beautiful voice, Darnell, and you have a way of speaking that's very warm and comforting. And you should definitely do more of this. And if I can help you send people your way to interview, I will. In fact, I can think of a couple people I might talk to you on the side. But you should continue doing it because you do. You create a nice environment just in the energy I feel talking with you, which is a gift. So you have a gift. Keep doing this.
I've definitely heard that before, and I want to thank you. I was actually inspired by a man named Arsenio Hall. He goes way back to the 80s and 90s. So shout out to him if he ever runs across any of my interviews. He's such an inspiration to me. But, you know, what you're seeing, this is just how I am. I talk to people as if they're people because actors and actresses, they're just people. As long as they treat me with respect, I'll treat them with respect. Doesn't matter where you look like, where you come from, none of that matters.
No.
We all have the same problems. So
yeah, I mean, when you wrote me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing this interview with you, I was so excited because I believe that everyone comes into your life for a reason, with a message, with a lesson. And I was just excited to see, you know, where the interview was going to go. And you're a new friend of mine. And I believe that we're all here and that everyone has a message to learn and grow. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm so excited about this interview.
well, thank you for doing it. I really appreciate that.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So yeah.
I guess the next question I would ask you is if you had creative control, what kind of storyline would Ava have been involved in? If you got to create your own story, what would you have done with the character Ava?
Wow, that's a really good question. What would I have done with Ava? Gosh, that's a really good question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have loved to have seen actually a relationship come out of what happened, if I could have continued on, I would have liked to have seen what happened with Ava and Remy. I
That would have
think
been
that,
cool.
yeah, I think that would have been really cool. And as an actor, that was such a pivotal moment for me, in the hospital, seeing the baby and being next to Bill and being pregnant at the same time, seeing the baby in there. Because I was pregnant at that time when we filmed that scene where I saw the baby for the first time. So I would have liked to have explored that more. That would have been a really nice emotional storyline, and dealing with, just all kinds of amazing storylines within Remy and Ava. So yeah, that would have been fun.
Well, I remember earlier you were saying that Crystal Chappelle wanted you to be a villain, and I wanted
Yeah.
to say I'm glad you didn't because I don't I don't like evil, which is ironic because I watch all these horror movies and
Yes.
I guess it's okay to see the bad guy get away every now and then. Like I don't know if you ever checked out my channel, but I'm a huge fan of the horror film Halloween. And
Do you wait? Hold on for a second. Not to switch a subject. Oh no, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. I got excited. Finish your thought. I have a really exciting thing to tell you. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say that I'm a big fan of the horror movie Halloween, and it's very interesting to see Michael Myers get away from time to time, but after he gets away, I like to see him get his just due. You know what I mean? I want to see
Yeah.
them get him. So I'm glad that you weren't the villain because I liked Ava. I wouldn't want her to be a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Thank you. I know. It's just creatively, it would have been fun. And I'm sorry I interrupted you there for a second, but I don't know if you probably don't know this, but I did a film with Robert Englund called
Okay.
Inkubu. And I worked with him horror film wise. And I actually have another horror film out right now that is in editing, which probably will be going to Sundance, I think, next year, depending on what's going on with this crazy quarantine stuff. But yeah, I'm a huge horror fan myself, which is why I got so excited and interrupted you.
Yeah, I actually want to meet Robert. He's another person I'm very interested in. I would love to meet Robert Englund. He's great as Freddy Krueger. Very
So
awesome guy.
such a nice person and super soft spoken in person and just very polished and really kind. I loved him, and I run into him every once in a while at Comic-Con. Sometimes I'll go, like I was in that because I gave birth to his demon baby in the movie that I did with him. I gave it away, but I got to hold the demon baby and I was at that Comic-Con for a while. That was kind of fun. So anyways, whenever I see Robert, I always go and give him a hug and say hi. So he's a fantastic person.
I never knew that you were in a horror movie. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh yeah, you got to check it out. Oh my gosh. I get shy.
Yeah, I guess my next question would be, could you tell us about your daily routine on the set of Guiding Light? What did you do daily?
Well, daily, what I would do was, I believe, let me think back a little bit here. I would arrive and park my car and then go in. We had to go through security at CBS to get up to, the floor that we were on. And because we were in a fancy building with like other networks and things. And then I would go to rehearsal first thing in the morning. I think it was somewhere around 6:30 maybe. And we do dry rehearsal with our scripts, and we'd have everything from the night. I'd have everything from the night before highlighted with all the stuff I had to learn or adjustments I had to make. And then we would do blocking. And blocking is where they tell you where to stand in each different shot so that the cameras can hit you at the perfect angle so that you look beautiful wherever you're standing. And so we'd go through that for about 30 minutes. And then we would go right into hair and makeup. And then we would talk and hang out in hair and makeup. And that was probably one of my favorite things. I miss everybody. And then we would start filming, and I'd go back to my dressing room, and I had a nice dressing room, and it was so cozy, and I had it decorated really cute, and it was my little peace and quiet. I would have incense in there, and I'd study my lines, and that was it. They would come knock on our door and give us like a 10-minute warning, and we'd go out and we would film what we had to do for the day, and then that was it. And then when we were in PPAC, we started going, mobile when we were shooting. So we would do the same kind of things, but we would just do that when we were at the house in PPAC.
It sounds very interesting. Did you ever have any trouble remembering your lines? Because I don't think I could remember lines like that. I don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah, it took me a little while to figure out how I learned, because some people don't realize, well, I think people realize now, not everybody learns the same way. Some people can sit really focused at a computer like this here, and I can learn, my son can do that. My son can read something from the computer and learn it that way. I learned by moving. So I learned that when I had a script, I would have my script, and for instance, like I would put it on the table here, and maybe I would be slicing up vegetables for dinner. So if I was multitasking, I had to be moving while I learned. So walking on a treadmill and reading my script, for whatever reason, moving makes me remember my lines. Isn't that funny? You can Google it, because it's actually a real way of learning. Some people learn by moving. So I could slice vegetables and look at my script and say the lines a couple times in my head, and then I'd slice some vegetables and go back to my script and look, and then, so it sounds silly, but it's a constant way of moving and retaining information. So when I learned that, then I started to be able to memorize my lines. I had to learn how to memorize. Interesting.
Yeah, I never knew that moving around helps you. It's always good to learn something new.
Well, yeah, well, I have a little bit of ADHD, honestly. And I didn't get diagnosed with that until later in life, like in my late 30s. And so focusing for me is sometimes a little bit of a challenge. I have to keep bringing myself back into the moment, because when you have anxiety, you get distracted all the time, right? Because anxiety is like, well, what about this? And what about this? And you're like, no, I need to learn my lines. So that's a constant challenge for me. But when I learned how to learn by moving, life was so much easier. So you have to check it out. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I definitely will have to look into that.
Yeah.
And I was gonna ask you, why did you leave Guiding Light, but now that's so obvious. So.
Well, I've had a really big print career before I started on Guiding Light, a lot of television commercials and a lot of modeling. So when I started on Guiding Light, I actually stopped doing all my print and all of my commercials because I was working on the show. So I got back, I wanted to get back into that a little bit as well. So yeah, passing on the contract was tough, but I got to go back and cause trouble a little bit here and there, which was fun at the end.
Yeah, that's true. And I was rooting for you. I'm glad you weren't a full-on villain, but I was rooting for Remy to be with you. I thought that was cool, because he was always going after Tammy, and he wanted to be with Tammy, but obviously that wasn't going to happen because she was in love with Jonathan. So, if he couldn't be with Tammy, I wish he could have been with you, but they. It
would have been so fun. It would have been so fun.
Yeah, definitely. It really would have been. I guess next I would ask you, as an actress, what do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment, and why?
My greatest accomplishment and why as an actress? Well, so one of my biggest accomplishments, I think, is just, it's actually has to do with respect. When I was offered the opportunity to become to play Ava on Guiding Light. So I was offered my first role without even studying acting. I always had this big, wild, crazy, fun personality. And so these situations were always they just attracted themselves to me. So I auditioned for something on a whim. They liked me. They gave me the role. They gave me the part. I felt so guilty. I felt so guilty getting this part because I had never studied. I had never gone to Juilliard. I had never really wanted to even be an actress. Like these opportunities are blessings for me, and they've come to me as gifts, and I'm not joking you. They've been gifts for me. So I was given this gift, and I'm proud of myself because I said, I want to learn how to do this. I want to educate myself. I don't want to be one of those girls who's a model turned actress. I want to study. People devote their lives to wanting to do this for a living. And I have this opportunity to do this. I am going to respect this, and I'm going to learn as much as I can. And so I got right into school. I got right into class, and I studied it because I had respect for all the other people out there who are artists like me. And I felt that I didn't want to take the situation without really being grateful and respectful for what goes into the craft. So that's probably one of my greatest achievements, was trying to learn and do more and not taking advantage of a situation someone gave me purely, of course on my ability with my big personality, but a lot of it was aesthetic, and I wanted to be more than that. So studying and doing that was probably, I'm proud of myself for that.
Yeah, like I said, I just enjoy sitting back and listening and meeting all these different actors and actresses. This is something that I feel I was born to do, and that's not me gloating. I just feel that this fits me perfectly, which is why I've been doing it for 5 years. So I'm certainly glad I got to meet you. I'll say that much. Out of every storyline that you've been involved in as Ava, which one did you find to be the most intriguing?
I mean, I feel like the conversation about the relationship between Ava and Olivia was something, was my favorite storyline, because it was dealing with some really hard issues of, love and approval from your parents, approval from your mom. Ava wanted Olivia to love her and to make her feel like she was important in her life, and that she wasn't something she just left behind and forgot about. So Ava was always looking for approval from Olivia, and I loved connecting up with that, because that is such a human emotion. And no matter what kind of relationship you're in, people want acceptance. They want someone to know that they love them. They want to know that there's a connection there, and to be able to play a part role of Ava, and to be seeking approval and love from Olivia was the best storyline for me. Because again, it doesn't matter what relationship you're in. Your mother, your father, your brother, your friend, your lover, your boyfriend. You always want that other person's approval and understanding, and that was an amazing storyline for me, and it was a gift.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I almost forgot that you were Olivia's daughter. Like, how crazy was that? Like, when I found that out, then Jeffrey O'Neill is your father. It's like,
I know. Wow. Yeah, I know. It was really emotional for me. Yeah.
I thought you did a good job. I remember, it was years ago. I remember some of it. I can't remember every single thing.
I'm the same way, and I played the role, so.
Yeah. So I remember some of it.
That was what happened? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, and I'm embarrassed to say because the fans are gonna be like, "Wow, you forgot?" Yes, I did. Um, I'm gonna
Well,
have
I
to
have,
go back and look at that.
well, we could always do another interview sometime if you want to talk about more things. So I'm always around and available. And
Well,
I have to
yeah,
say, going through chemotherapy, sometimes I feel like it definitely affected my memory. So there are some things I try to think back on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even remember. It's
yeah.
so bad.
I mean, it comes back to me now, but yeah, you were Olivia's daughter. That was
Yeah.
a right. I remember that now.
I
And
was Olivia's daughter, and somebody was asking me about the other day. A friend of mine was at because I'm kind of quiet about my I don't know my acting life. I don't know. I get kind of shy about it, but someone was asking me about it the other day, and I was like, wow, yeah, playing Ava was so fun because I always was trying to make her funny. I was always trying to make Ava quirky or silly or dropping things or clumsy because I always felt like she was this pretty character on the show, right? But I wanted her to be relatable. So every time I could do something on my own outside of the script that was silly or like make her trip when she was walking through the restaurant or she dropped something, like little funny things where she would just be like awkward, right? I love to do that with her because I wanted people to look past this and actually think she was kind of funny. So every chance I could to try to make Ava silly, I used to love it.
I got, like I said, because my memory with the character, I remember some things, and that was so long ago. So sometimes my memory escapes me, but I'm gonna have
Welcome
to,
to my world.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and refresh my memory a little bit and go back and look at those old clips of Ava. Um,
I
but
know.
yeah, so, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. I guess next I would ask you, what was your first day as Ava like? What was that like for you?
I was so nervous. That's what it was like for me. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous. I didn't sleep the night before. I was so scared I was going to forget my lines. I don't even think I had to say anything. I just ran in and tripped over Jonathan. We fell on the floor or something. But I was so nervous. I remember busting through the door. It was like a swinging door from the kitchen and coming into the bar. And I remember like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was surreal. I don't know. I mean, you guys, I never wanted to be an actress. It was a surprise for me. This was a gift for me. So you can imagine, I'm seriously, it's like some people have been studying their whole life. Like I said, I started studying as soon as they said, hey, Michelle, you should check this out. We think you're going to be good at it. I was like, oh my holy smokes, I need to get into some acting classes here so I don't look like a fool. Because I'm thinking, how can I do this? I'm not educated. But oh my gosh, I don't know. The whole thing was just surreal. And I was thinking a lot about my dad because, my dad had passed away from suicide just about 2.5 years prior to that. So he didn't get a chance to see me when I debuted on the show. He didn't know that I even got the show. So my first day, I was thinking a lot about my father and I mean, I know he was with me in that whole thing because I'm into that, but he was on my mind my first day of Guiding Light, that's for sure.
Well, again, I want to applaud you because the things that you've gone through, they really inspire me because anybody that can get through those things and still come out on top as you have, that's such an inspirational thing. And if it's okay with you, I would like to dedicate this to his memory because I'm just so inspired.
Thank you. Do you want me to tell you a little secret inside scoop? And let me pause for a second because thank you for saying that. That means so much to me that I feel like I want to cry. So thank you for touching my heart. And I mean that I'm going to start to cry now. See what's going to happen. Thank you. That was so sweet. So as I start to cry, because you've moved me, thank you. I want to tell you a little cool inside story. So when I found out that they were writing the part for me to bring me on the show, I found out what my father's name was, and my father's name on Guiding Light was Jeffrey. Well, that happens to be my dad's name in real life when my father was alive. And I believe that's no coincidence that my dad and my character's name, dad, is the same name. So for me, every time I got to be on Guiding Light, oh my gosh, I'm so emotional. See what you're doing? This is beautiful. Thank you for making me emotional. I would think about my dad because my dad's name was the same as my father's name on Guiding Light, and I always believed that that was a sign that he's with me, because I believe that God, Source, the Spirit, sends you these things. And what a blessing. So yeah, you got tears out of me. This is so good, Darnell. I love it. I love, love, love. Oh, I love it. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, it's just such an inspiration to me. Anybody that can, deal with those things and still make it through, I'm just inspired. So
we are all stronger than we think we are, and you are too, and everybody watching this is. And when you have struggles in your life and you face challenges, you think you can't get through it, and you do, and then the next thing happens and you get through it, and you're just like, man, I'm so amazing. So don't ever underestimate the power of the strength that you have inside of you, because it's amazing. And people ask me, they're like, how do you do this, how do you do that? But sometimes you just don't have a choice. You have a choice. You can either crawl up in the corner and cry about your life being so horrible because you're feeling bad about maybe challenges in your life. We all have them. Or you say, you know what, I have challenges in my life, and this really is crummy, and this is really awful, but you know what? I'm not going to live in that moment. I'm going to feel crummy for a day or so, and then I'm going to get over myself, and I'm going to be positive, because that's what's going to get me through. And that's pretty much what I did. Pretty much. And you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's just choice in your brain.
yeah, well, I like to bond with people, and this is not something that I like to talk about a lot, but my YouTube fans, they know that I have a condition called cerebral palsy. So it has left
you.
Yeah, it left me confined to a chair, and it's not something I like to talk about a lot. A lot of times people will say to me, if I can't get somebody's attention, they'll say, well, why don't you just explain to the person that you have this? Is like, no, I don't want to use that. I want to go in on my own, and if that actor or actress, if they don't want to be bothered with me, then that's their problem. You know what I mean? I don't like to bring that into my little resume when I write these emails to these actors and actresses. I don't like to talk about it, because I feel that my work speaks for itself. And if you notice, when I came to you, I didn't bring that up. I didn't say, "Hey, Michelle,
no,
I have
you didn't. No, you just mentioned it to me for the first time.
The only reason I'm even bringing it up is to show you, hey, we all have things that we're dealing with.
Yes.
And, so, like I said, I like to bond with the people that come on my channel, and we all have problems. So
we have challenges, and that's okay, and that's what makes us human. And and you're special, and that's what makes you special, and that's part of your journey and adventure here. And I know what you mean by not wanting to have something define who you are, right? You want it, that's a part of who you are, but it doesn't have to be. It's like me with, sure. I mean, sometimes I don't even talk about being an actress. I mean, I don't talk about it with friends. You won't really hear me talk about it because that's a part of my life that I like, but I would rather talk about other things if you and I were hanging out with friends having dinner. You know what I mean? So like we all have our things that we feel comfortable talking about and whatever, but I don't know. It's life's just a blessing, and it's amazing to be. I'm honored to be sitting here with you. So let me ask you a question. So what do you interview and talk about with people? Is it only soap opera stars and people like this? Or do you branch off to other subjects?
Well, I mostly deal with horror movies, and as I was telling you before, like I like to talk about the fictional villain Michael Myers. The guy that stalks people on Halloween, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's been my goal to meet Jamie Lee Curtis. Now I'm not trying to be negative. I don't think it's going to happen, and it's not me being negative. It's just, no expectations, no disappointments. So, I know that Jamie Lee Curtis is very busy, and I know that she only goes places where she can get a lot of exposure. So she's certainly not going to come on my little YouTube channel. Probably not unless I paid her, but it is what it is. And this is not me degrading anybody that makes money. If you make money, that's great. But to everybody that has ever taken the time to give me an interview for free, I say thank you, and that includes you. Because I recently wrote on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, I said, if somebody asked me for an interview later on, I would do it. I'm so shy, but I would do it. If I saw that it meant that much to them and they said, hey, can I interview you? I would do it. No charge. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. If I see that something that I've done in my life means that much to you, I will grant you an interview. Somebody, if I became famous and somebody said, "Hey, I want to interview you," I would be more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
Completely free.
Well, when you give and you're unselfish, it all comes back to you. It's the power of the law of attraction. When you put good stuff out there and you help and you do things for others and you don't expect things back, the universe, God, whatever, rewards you. So, it's just about operating from the heart, and you do, and goodness and all that good stuff will find you. And as far as Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, just keep thinking of her and manifesting the idea of having a conversation with her, and see it in your mind and put out positive vibes. And you never know what could happen. I mean,
it is a bit intimidating though, because Jamie Lee, she seems like such a force of nature. She seems so powerful, and maybe I'm getting that from the movies, and maybe she's quiet, in real life, but
yeah.
she seems very powerful. When I think about Jamie Lee, I think about the ultimate symbol of power where women are concerned, and so it would be quite a blessing to meet Jamie Lee Curtis. I have to say that. Not that I'm trying to take any of the attention away from you, because we're
absolutely don't like being the center of attention all the time, believe it or not.
okay.
I will sit here and talk about Jamie Lee Curtis with you all day. In fact, I'm already thinking in my brain if there's any way I can help you meet her, now that I know that you like her so much. So I do know people. I will put my brain to the test for you and try to see what I can come up with, who I can hook you up with.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. And I guess my final question would be, if Ava stayed in Springfield, what do you think she'd be up to today? What would Ava be doing today?
Well, I think that I probably would have been married, I think, to somebody. I mean, I don't even know. That's a hard question because what would I be doing? Because I don't know. I
Yeah.
think Ava
I,
would probably be still seeking approval from her mother. I think she would probably still be arguing with Lizzie maybe over Bill and
oh, I loved your rivalry with Lizzie, aka Marcy Ryland. She's
yeah,
great. Um,
yeah.
yeah, that was great. I remember you guys were who was it that you were um arguing
Well, it
with? I
was we
think
were
I
fighting
think
over Bill, and then there was Coop. Remember?
yeah, yeah, Coop. That's who it was. That's who it was. Coop
Yes.
Bradshaw. That's who it was. And I remember you said one of the craziest lines ever when it concerned Coop, because it was his birthday and you said to him, and this made me so jealous because I liked Ava back then, and I said I wish she said that to me. You said to him, you said the birthday boy can have whatever he wants, and I'm like, why couldn't she have said that? That
I know,
made
right? Oh gosh. That was so fun. It was so surreal. It went by so fast that time of my life. And it was just, again, so amazing. Such a blessing to be able to be involved with such a great group of people and to be able to still reconnect and have these conversations years later. It's just, and I really like the the fans that I'm friends with. Oh, and I just want to say one thing to who's ever watching this. So I get a lot of people friending me on Facebook. So if you're watching this and you're watching this interview and you're a fan of Guiding Light and you're messaging me and you want to be my friend, message me privately and mention Darnell Weeks so I know that you guys saw me through this interview, and I will bring you into my private page. But I always
well,
like to
how
kind of
cool is that? I like that.
I
That's
always like to know why you're coming into my page, because I get a lot of wonderful people who like to talk to me, but I'm not, I'm private. So if I know you from Darnell, please message me when you ask for the friendship, and I will lovingly invite you to be my private friend on Facebook.
that is so cool, and I want to thank you for being here. And I want to while we're on the subject of what Ava would be doing today, I would like to think that she would not be bursting through any more doors like she did in August of '05. Don't do that. Don't. You might hurt yourself, you know?
I know. It's such a great memory. So fun to go down memory lane with you and to think about all of these things and Ava and her relationship. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited. I'll come back again and we can talk about other things too.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And
You're
as I
welcome.
said, it's great to be able to watch you guys. You know, I watched you so faithfully every morning at 10
Oh my
o'clock.
God.
And, if I couldn't watch it, I would tape it. And, I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed meeting you and enjoyed meeting Robert Newman and Stephanie Gachet. And I'm going to keep trying to meet more Guiding Light actors and actresses. Who knows? Maybe next it'll be Crystal Chappelle. Maybe it'll be Tom Pelfrey. Maybe it'll be Marcy Ryland. I
Well,
definitely.
I am
I,
excited to share with my friends, my fellow actors, that I did such a nice interview with you, and I'm excited to pass that on my page. So I'm going to do that. And one more thing, I would love for anybody who's watching this to find me on Instagram, and my Instagram handle is outerspace_beauty. That's outerspace_beauty. That is how you can find me on Instagram. So find me, guys.
okay, yeah, I was actually looking for you on Instagram. I don't actually post a lot on there, but if you followed me on Instagram, I'm going to tell you, you're going to just see a whole lot of pictures of Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, and so you're going to be scrolling
That's
through.
cool. That's cool. I love it. I'm going to find you on Instagram. So find me on Instagram.
Well, I want to thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching an interview with myself and actress Michelle Ray Smith. Michelle, it's been so wonderful connecting with you all these years later. Can you believe it's been 15 years since you came crashing through that door in that bar?
I can't believe it. It's been surreal. And again, thank you so much for inviting me. I always loved interviewing. I always loved listening. It was a privilege spending time with you. And I'm so excited to share other things going on in my life with everybody who spent time with me today. So I just want to say thanks, everybody. Come find me. And I hope to connect with you on social media. Darnell, thank you so much. And
thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.